All right, everyone, welcome back. As always, we are going to be starting off where we left off. But before we get into the game, I'm going to say first and foremost that this recording is being done on Memorial Day. So thank you to all those who serve, but I know this is not Veterans Day. This is Memorial Day. So to those who have fallen, you're not forgotten. I know you won't hear this message, but those who are part of the community who have family that has fallen, friends that have fallen, from this humble YouTuber, I just want to say thank you, and know that though they are fallen, they are not forgotten. And I don't want to belabor the point too much. If they're anything like the veterans that I know, they wouldn't want to. They wouldn't want everything made a big deal about them. So we won't get too deep into that rabbit hole. But I will say thank you one last time. Without further ado, we will get into the game. Alright, getting some better torpedo boats. Not right now, I don't think. But we now know that that's an option, and what we will do is go ahead and start building more of these light cruisers. We know we're gonna need them. We've got 16 to replace, so it's we got a lot. We got a long haul. We don't have a lot of unrest. Actually, that's a good one. We could always use more money. So, we're not going to let the press tell us how to do our job. Newsies, well, I generally have a low opinion of Newsies. That gets into politics. This is not a politics channel. This is a game channel. And so we're not going to get into that. Well, we're not going to let the Newsies tell us what to do. We are, I think, I didn't see anything about anyone saying politics for who we should go for, so I think I'm going to slowly start egging the Russians on. I would like to get some more of the Baltic, and that sort of opens doors out here in the Pacific, and not a lot. Mostly that, however, is due to we just don't have very large bases out here. And I mean, I'm not saying shame on us for not having bases, but it's kind of difficult to have large bases on small islands. That I will say that. Well, we'll keep going. Spanish are having trouble. We successfully increased tension with Russia. That's fantastic. We'll build another 3. That's going to be 12 light cruisers in production right now. Every couple of months isn't a big deal, but we are going to let our money, our monthly income go up a little bit just to see when the next round of our shipyards is complete, if we can't look at potentially getting a better heavy cruiser. We got, I think 4 months on that. It might be another light cruiser upgrade, but I would bet it's a heavy cruiser. But we might wait a little bit, right? Because if we get to 10 months, that'll get us not just the bigger cruiser, but turret mechanisms, control stations, rangefinders, hull strengthening, and better boilers and more machinery, special machinery. So that might be worth it. And that would definitely give us the time we need. That was our shipyards, given the amount of money increase. That would give us definitely time to increase our light cruiser fleet and replace the older ships, which is fantastic. You know, I don't like using naval funds this way, but I think that's our best option. We did get some extra naval funds earlier, so we'll go with that. We're trying to start crap with Russia. We don't need to be starting crap with England at the same time. That's how you get in two-front wars. We really don't want a two-front war. Yep, that's fine. We'll do one more. Let's look and see when these light cruisers start. We got 2 months, 4 months, 5 months, and 7 months. I think I'm going to go ahead and start scrapping some of our light cruisers. Now, I know a lot of people are like, oh, you should mothball. There's something to that, right? Let's be honest. There is something to that. You know, because if we scrap it, we get money, I believe, but we're going to get rid of the ships, free up crews. You free up crews with Mothball 2, and the benefit is you don't have to build new ships. As you can see, I prefer to scrap them. I don't want to have to come back to old ships. If I have to come back to old ships, I need to be suing for peace, right? Because that means I have taken such a beating that I'm on old ships that are definitely going to get beat when my new ships are getting beat. So I need to be suing for peace. So I don't see a reason to keep mothballed ships. It gives us money, it frees up the crew, and keeps it nicer and neater, in my opinion. So that's what we're gonna do. We're just gonna scrap. We scrapped a little under half of our light cruisers, but we don't want to do all of them, just because I want to have some of our light cruisers, our new light cruisers, coming into production first. So that's kind of what we're going to be doing. And I'll see you guys the next time that there's something interesting going on. Alright, so welcome back. We got some of our research done. It was a heavy cruiser design. That's fantastic. We're getting close to some of the things we were looking at. Special machinery came up. is finished. We're still going to wait the 6 months for the rangefinders and the internals. I was tempted to keep waiting until we got better hull protection, but here's the deal to me. There's always going to be something that's about to happen. And so if we wait for nothing to be getting close to finishing, we will never build new ships, and we can't do that. So what we're going to do, we are going to have 12. We need to expand. So we're going to go ahead and do 10 more of these light cruisers. We're still net positive. And what we will do, right, it'll take 10 months to build. We've got 6 months before we even look at starting a new heavy cruiser design. So I'm thinking that's going to be more than 50%. We go ahead and we put those light cruisers in production. When they start rolling off the line and we start getting down to, you know, only the 10 that we just put in production left, we can go ahead and scrap all of the remaining light cruisers of the previous generations. That should free up enough monthly balance for us to start producing those new heavy cruisers. So that's what I'm thinking. We'll see how it goes. I do want to be careful with our unrest. It's only about 3.5 is what it's saying. It's probably around 4 actually, but I don't see a reason to take it more than we have to, take it higher than we have to. So we'll just leave it. We're not going to be losing money for the Chinese, especially since I would rather have the Japanese, at least for right now, as our friends than the Chinese. So I'm not going to worry about the Chinese. We're going to try and improve relations a little bit with England. Again, a little bit of that. No need to have enemies on both sides of us at the same time. So, something we can learn from the World Wars, right? So, here's something that, in my opinion, and I know there's plenty of other opinions out there, and I think they're just as valid. I don't mind losing a little bit of my naval budget to grow the GDP, right? Because the naval budget is a percentage of the GDP. So the higher my GDP goes, the more money I'm getting. Now, this is probably going to be a net loss as far as straight money. But it'll mean that our naval budget in the future grows faster. So we're going to do it. Now I'm having to put my money where my mouth is. I don't like having the unrest that we just got rid of, or we're losing more prestige. So we're gonna have to go with this, even though it sets back our ability to push Russia into a war. I would like to try and not tank our unrest in the process. So It's just something that we're gonna have to figure out. But we are slowly pushing them. Like it was like 15, now we're at 33. We're slowly pushing them in the direction that we want to go. And to me, that's a net win. That is a net win. Got 3 more light cruisers coming off. 1, 2, 3 more in 2 months. So we're getting to where we're replacing all of our old light cruisers, and that's exactly what we want. And yeah, we're starting to rake in that money. Again, part of that's going to be those shipyards are complete, I would imagine. But getting some good techs going. Yeah. Shipyard is going, it's 6 months. I'm gonna wait. That may be silly. But we're gonna wait. But if I'm reading this right, yeah, those are just about done. So what we're going to do is, like I said earlier, we're going to go in, we're going to find all of our light cruisers that are of older designs, and we're going to scrap them, just so that when we see that we have, 5 light cruisers, we know that it's all going to be one type of ship. It's not going to be like one of these and 2 of those and 2 of us another thing. It's all going to be the same kind of unit, so we have expectations of what we have that are realistic to what the ships are. And we're going to go ahead and design our new heavy cruiser, so I'll see you in just a second when we get that going. Actually, hold on. I was premature, actually. We still need these rangefinders. I'm not sure why the whole protection lagged behind, but or internals protection. We'll wait 2 months. Get those. We do want better protection. Everybody's got too much in the way of spending. That's why I was really okay with our GDP going up. Like, we can balance out our need for newer ships and better shipyards with not having to constantly be spending, so much that we're running out of money. Like, we want to build our buffer. So that's something. Should be getting that internals protection. We'll finish researching. We do want the Japanese as friends, but we're not going to sell ourselves out. Definitely not going to let the Russians have better stuff in their shipyards from us. Like, we're not doing that. Russia is the enemy. We don't like them. So, in the meantime, our rangefinders are done. Our internals protection is done. Again, it's so tempting to wait 2 more months. But again, if we just keep doing that, we will never have new ships. So we're going to get a better heavy cruiser. And before I do that, I'm jumping the gun here a little bit. Let's look at what our current heavy cruiser's top speed is 20.4. we'll see about matching that. We might be a little slower. We'll see what it looks like at the end. I'm more concerned about having a ship that is capable. And, as much as it is important for us to have good, proper speed, and speed is definitely a part of your defense. This is a heavy cruiser. It's not designed to be the fastest thing in the world, so I'm not going to sweat it if it's the same speed or even slower than a previous version. We need our torpedo boats to be fast. We don't necessarily need our heavy cruisers to be extremely fast. The other thing that I tend to do, you'll see this a lot, is I'd rather have not the biggest guns in the world and have a little bit more armor. There is something to be said for having big guns, right? Big guns shoot big shells that do a lot of damage. Yeah, it's totally true, and there's definitely something to be said for that. The other thing to that is that big guns take forever to reload, and a ship that's sunk and sinking, it doesn't matter how big its guns are. So, there's something, again, you could argue that better guns are going to mean that they are more likely to kill the enemy before the enemy kills them, and there is something to that for sure. I don't want to negate that. I don't want to say that's bull, because that's true. The flip side of that, however, is that the more that my ships can shrug off shells, then the better off we're going to be to keep shooting. And I'd rather increase my tech budget to get better guns and better rounds than I would to simply put a bigger gun. Bigger isn't always better. You need penetrating power, you need all these other factors just as much. So we're gonna edge this up as much as we can here. I have a feeling that's about as good as we're gonna get. Yeah. Alright, so this is what we're looking at. 2 8-inch guns, 8 4-inch guns, with about 2 inches of armor, with a little bit more around our central aspects, and the belt is 3 inches minimum, so it's definitely designed still to be a more close-in than far-out ship. But that also means that we're getting to where we can take some fire from further out. Let us still get into I don't want to call it melee, obviously, right, these are guns, but letting it get into a closer range fight without being just obliterated by a lucky hit. And we're going to be throwing some shells out there as we get in. So that's the plan for our new heavy cruiser. And yeah, that works for me. So save that. I thought we saved it. We did save the design. It's scaring me here. Go ahead and get rid of the hipper battle design. And we've got just about $21.5 million a month. These things cost about 11, so we should be able try to see how long it's going to take to build one of these suckers. Probably what, 12 months, 15 months, 11. So almost a year. Yeah, let's put another 5 in production. That'll still give us some room to increase our shipyards. And maybe I might. I mean, we still have like 11 million, I think I saw. 7.5. Let's go ahead and put 3 more of these heavy cruisers into production. That should give us almost enough to entirely replace our active heavy cruiser fleet in one fell swoop. So that'll be fantastic. Some better shells, yada yada yada. There's our next push with Russia. And now I think we're going to cool off with Russia until we can bring our unrest down. We're at about 6 right now, so we probably want to get close to down to about, like, say 3 before we start pushing again. But in the meantime, if we can, we'll see if we can't get our next torpedo boat size increase and then get some of those going. And that's going to be interesting because torpedo boats are useful, but they're going to be something that we can probably put, you know, a dozen or 2 dozen into production at the same time and not really have to worry too much about our financial situation. And we're not going to be doing it stupidly, right? Because our money does fluctuate. But we're going to try to not just overhaul what we've got, but expand that torpedo boat fleet. Because they're small, we can use a lot of them in a lot of different places. And while I wouldn't want to take a torpedo boat up against something like, say, a light cruiser, I wouldn't mind using them in groups of like 2 or 3 or 4 to attack like heavy cruisers or battleships. So that could be something we use to really change the power dynamic of any fight that we get into. Slightly bigger heavy cruisers, but oh well. Can't control that. Yeah, 8 months. Yeah, what we'll do is we'll wait until we can get that next round of torpedo boats and increase that as well. And you know, I think Yeah, we'll drop our unrest there. But I think... yeah. So let's go ahead. Well, before we do that, let's verify 6 months. So yeah, let's go ahead and do one more round of shipyard building at 6 months. That'll complete at the same time that those torpedo boats do. And then we would be able to have a lot more of those torpedo boats going. That'll be good. Can't seem to make anybody like us at the moment, though, so that's all right. See if we can't make the United States a little happy with us. Armor forging, that'll be good. Oh, excellent. So this will do a lot of good things for us at once. We definitely want to push Russia towards war. We want to take some of those Baltic ports. This does that and gives us less unrest at the same time. That's a perfect opportunity for us there. Perfect opportunity. All right, let's look. Let's maybe go with Austria-Hungary. We haven't paid a lot of attention to them. See if we can't get them happier with us. And in 2 months, actually, you know what? We're not going to go. I can't imagine any set of circumstances happening where we will immediately go to war with somebody in the next 2 turns. So we're going to preemptively scrap all of our existing heavy cruisers. That'll save us a lot of money, which, okay, I'm not too worried about that, right? Because we're doing good financially. But what it'll also do is allow us to put a little bit more money in the bank. Yeah, we were at like 12, we're at 18 million right now. So that's fantastic. And we'll save a little bit more money, put a little bit more money in the bank. But that'll give us that room once the heavy cruisers that are in production start rolling off the line, which they should do this very next turn. So, let's also talk to Italy. Let's talk to the United States. So, not sure why that's so slow, but okay. Chinese are getting replaced. Mexico for Russia is okay. I mean, it's not fantastic, but Mexico's a long way away. So, not exactly sure how they're going to be helpful to Russia, other than to be able to sell ships to Russia, but yeah, it's all right. It's okay. All right, there's our bigger torpedo boats. And yes, our shipyard's finished. So let's get us a new little torpedo boat. It's going to be small. This is going to be a ship, if you've never played this game, you want to have as much speed as you can get on this thing. For most, it doesn't matter what kind of speed you're looking at. You obviously don't want them super slow, but with torpedo boats, their main defense is their speed. Like, you just cannot armor up these things very much. So it's gonna be what it is. Now, I know most people are gonna say use the best funnel you can get. I actually don't agree with that when it's really early for torpedo boats, because I can fit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these things, these smaller ones, and still have a torpedo. Now I'm going to have a little bit less, but that's 5. Actually, before I do that, right? So that's 5. I can get up to 211% engine efficiency. It's overweight, but I'm just saying, you know, for the space, specifically just for the space. If you do the biggest one, you can have 1. Right? Because remember, the torpedo was right here. So we could have 1. We could have 1 set for a 60% engine efficiency. Now, our big thing right now is obviously it's this, and we're not doing 29 knots. That's ridiculous. We're gonna go for 26. We probably will go for this main tower. Yeah, doesn't do a whole lot. 26. We'll do these. I think it's this one. Yep. 3. That's 130. We don't need more than 100%. 130 is fantastic, right? And that means we have a lot of room. I don't know why it's doing that. We have a lot of room for torpedoes. We can get 4 torpedoes on this thing. We're doing amazing. We don't have bigger torpedoes, so we are going to increase the number that we carry. Now, that's a little bit of a dangerous thing, right? Because that means that it's not going to be able to take as many hits, but it's a torpedo boat. It's not going to take a lot of hits to begin with. So, what do? Now we have room to play with. We can start increasing our speed again. This is our main defense right here. So we want this to go up. We can go to 29 knots. I think 29 knots is just fine. That is going to be one of the fastest things on the planet. Not just ships, one of the fastest things on the planet. It's amazing. It's small. It's got 4 torpedoes, so a full spread is going to be extremely dangerous to big ships. This thing is not meant to take on little things. It's not even in some ways meant to take on other torpedo boats its own size. This is meant for capital ship killing. Battleships and heavy cruisers are going to be the rightful prey of this torpedo boat. And with that, we're going to be able to come over, get rid of this older torpedo boat design. We're going to look at this thing. Notice, I mean, it's significantly faster even than our light cruiser. About a third, again, as fast. That's insane. We're going to come over. We're going to say, oh, we have almost, we're starting to head towards $29 million a month. We're going to come, we're going to build, and I'm going to queue up 20 of them. And we say, okay, fantastic. We still have $22 million. This is where it gets you have to watch yourself. You don't want to expand too fast, because remember, we're still not increasing our pool here too much. So the thing we want to do, we have a lot of money in the bank to come up to 70%, and then for the first time we're going to hit our crew training, we're going to bring it up. Don't went too far too fast. We're going to go to 30%. That's a 5% increase from, like, overall. It's a 20% increase from what we had. And it still leaves us room to, say, build another expansion. We're still making money. And this is why that early game transport capacity and having a good GDP comes in handy. I don't know what to tell you. We're doing good. We're making money. We're expanding our fleet. We're expanding with better ships, not just increasing what we have. And we put 20 in. You know what? I'm gonna be a little crazy. I'm gonna put another 10 in production. See what that gives us as far as, like, crew pool. It's okay. And see where we're at. Control station 4 months. Whole construction 8 months. What we'll probably do, armor quality in 10 months. We'll probably wait. Excuse me. A little bit, not a lot, but a little bit, and then look to put in a new battleship design, just because those designs are starting to get dated and old, and we don't need to just have newer classes and other things. We need to have newer battleships as well. Those are going to take a while, but it'll be worth it. We'll probably get that at the end, either the end of this year or the start, right around the start of the next year. But for today, we're going to leave the episode here, where we are gearing up to get into a war with Russia. So, as always, I appreciate you taking the time to watch the video. Feel free to drop a name for some ship classes and tell me what type of ship, what level of ship you want that name assigned to. So if you have, like, the Titan, you know, tell me if that's a battleship or a torpedo boat. It'd be hilarious if you name a torpedo boat Titan, but you know what? Just drop a comment, and I'll see you guys next time. Dragonheart, signing off.